Okay. So last time, you guys had arrived at the village of Rayang, and during this time in the village, there is what is called the Por Tor Festival that is happening, or otherwise known as the Festival of Hungry Ghosts. It should be hangry because sometimes the ghosts can be angry too, but it's hungry. Um, you guys met with the village leader named Arhit. He is a Loxodon who welcomed you to the village, had arranged for lodgings prior to you arriving, and answered really any questions you had pertaining to the village itself. Afterwards, you guys had went to Pui, who is a monk, the master monk armament person, who gave Aoife a couple items, two of which are directly related to her school. One was Tamara's meteor hammer, which is currently in its mundane state. Pui and a fellow monk in the village, Somsak, had been trying to discuss how to revive it, but in Pui's care, though she has taken very good care of it physically, she has not been able to draw out any power from it.
Just a question, because I'm sure you explained it and I wasn't here.
Yep.
By mundane form, do you just mean like it's basically just a hammer right now, or it's just not like a super nice hammer?
It's just a hammer.
It's just a hammer. It's literally a
Okay.
ball on a chain with a handle at the end.
Yeah, not even
Okay.
+1 or something.
Okay, completely got it. Okay, I understand.
That did
Completely,
not stop Aoife from having a whole lot of fun with it, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could give like a rope to Aoife and like she could do crazy cool shit with it.
True.
During your conversation, Boyd did see something in the tree line, which she used her rope dart to entangle Bird Friend, who had followed you to this continent. So after that, you guys partook in some festival games. Tilda gave some offerings to a dead aunt who was eaten by out. It. Who knows? Who knows how Birdford followed you? Tilda gave some offerings to a aunt, the one that was mauled by an owlbear. Raine, you partook and won the water buffalo race, which you received 10 gold for your trouble, and a water buffalo calf, which you donated to a. There was there was cheating involved. However, it was in retaliation against the cheating that the second place person the second place person who was cheating already. So it was retaliation cheating, I guess. Evening the playing field cheating?
Justice cheating.
Justice cheating?
Yeah.
Because they were the
Or just cheating, you know? Either way, depends how you pronounce it.
there were 5 participants in this particular water buffalo race. The last 2, after the other 3 were thrown into the crowd, knocked off, etc., 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 because they were just farmers. You know, they were the last 2. Yeah. Just justice, just cheating. And Zaitari fished up at one of the carnival games, fished up a giant carp the size of a child for dinner.
Did she give it back?
No. She had the choice of doing. You guys ate it. There was like lots of like fish curry and fried fish and steamed fish with rice. It was pretty good. during this time, Somsak, the master of the Temple of Mercy in the village, had stopped by, and there was like a discussion about, how about the old ones and key techniques, and Tilda had asked, hey, why aren't there any god temples around here? And pretty much it was said, well, I mean, gods are kind of messed up, so why follow an imperfect being such as what? Think of it as like, yeah, the fish would not have.
We tried to figure it out.
Yeah,
But
if you can ask if they have extra giant carp. It looks like they are pretty common. You're going to. I mean, if you're
water buffalo are dangerous.
water buffalo are very dangerous. if you don't know how to handle one. The bear can speak common. The bear can communicate with you. Anyways, yeah, there are no gods. Not there aren't any gods. Nobody, the majority of the population in Inkatha does not worship gods because they view gods as imperfect as the humanoids themselves. There we go. Somsak did, since Aoife did want to talk to like somebody of the Temple of Long Death, which is also it's a school more prominent in one of the other countries on this continent. She did mention, Somsak did mention, he mentioned that there is a monk from the Zen archery school that can probably help try to get in contact with somebody from the School of Long Death, since he is from that Tengri, the country that most practitioners of Long Death are from. That is about it.
Question.
Yes.
Does magical transportation work within Inculta, or are we foot traveling / dragon traveling, etc. while we're here?
Binta will be able to do a teleportation in the morning. Within Inculta,
Okay.
yes, teleportation does work.
Okay, cool.
And I know that Aoife wanted to speak with what was his freaking name again? Scrolling up. That was with Dawa in the morning. He's a Zen leader who might know somebody from the School of Long Death. Also, for your reference, Len, there is a handout called Leaders. I will show that to you right now. Those are the 9 representatives you will be meeting tomorrow. There
Okay.
are 9 regions of Inculta. And those are the representatives. They're not necessarily the leaders of their country, but they've been elected to represent.
So kind of like an ambassador,
Yes.
diplomat type thing.
Exactly, exactly. He is Sand's master. Aoife briefly saw him speaking to Sand. Just so you know, just so you have a frame of reference. Copy. I hate you.
Wow.
Not you. This program.
Is one of these people a whale shark person?
He is a whale shark. Yes, he is from the Isles of Sina Una. This is like the equivalent of the Filipino culture that is on
cool.
this continent. He is a whale shark.
Cool.
Not a whale shark. a regular whale shark person. Yes. I can't show you. No. Okay, that won't work. I can't show you pictures of them because in this document, they don't want me to show you pictures of them.
That happens.
Yeah, it happens. Okay. Anyways, right. So it is evening. Melanie, was there anything you wanted to do before you went to bed after seeing your wonderful partner be triumphant in the water buffalo contest of racing?
Mel will let her know that she's happy that we're not trying to take a water buffalo home. Thank you very much. But mostly she was just chilling. Imagine that she was just happily on the outskirts or quietly participating in the various things that we did.
I mean, you could probably afford one. I mean, like,
no water buffaloes in the home, guys. Come on.
I mean, look at that face. It's a cute face.
Oh God. It doesn't stay cute. It doesn't stay.
I mean, it'll look like, you know, this later. Pointy horns.
It's just very large. It's large, guys.
She does when she grows up. It's her own business.
That particular
Once
type
she's
of,
out of the house.
that particular type of water buffalo, if you raise them from a calf, they're basically like giant dogs. They're super loyal. They love to play. They'll run up and greet the person that raised them.
Size-wise, significantly larger than a dog, though. Just
They're
throwing that
very
out there.
very large, but if treated well, they're basically giant
Yeah,
dogs with
person
horns.
comparison if you want to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where are we gonna keep it? We have nowhere to keep it. It won't survive in the hole. We've all heard the tale of what's the cow's name? Thork the ox, yeah.
Okay, Thork the ox. Not gonna press that.
Pre-stream, Grog tried to keep a ox in the not portable hole, the bag of holding.
Oh.
Okay, so if you're just hanging around, it is evening time. I assume most of you are going to bed unless you are telling me otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bedtime.
Okay, great. Zaitari. You are muted if you are still around. Is there a catastrophe going on? Oh, you're eating dinner. Okay, I'll come back to you in a moment. Raine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been it's been a pretty long day. I would say it's been a pretty long day. You won a water buffalo race. You donated out of the goodness of your heart a water buffalo calf. You had a very lovely dinner.
Got some pretty carvings.
Nope, lots of you bought some things for your kid. It's been a pretty good day. Yeah, she was riding the buffalo. She was literally on the buffalo.
Did it was like the camel race.
No, she literally
I just assumed. I just thought I get, I should have realized, but I was just I don't know. My brain was just like, oh, like the camel race.
No, it's literally a tiny track in like what is like probably smaller than a medium-sized farmyard, and they just go around in a circle 3 times. But the water buffalo aren't trained for this kind of thing. It's like a rodeo,
Yeah.
and the buffalo are pissed.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it's a real thing that happens. So it's usually a lot of broken bones.
Fun times.
Mhm. Seriously, if you Google like water buffalo races in Thailand, it's a thing. There is nothing to do in the country. Okay, where was I? Right. Raine.
Full day.
So
Big full day.
you are like chilling out in your room. When you're probably just packing things, making sure you're ready for the trip for tomorrow. When you go to sleep and you're sleeping,
Mhm.
and so it's like you're when your head hits the pillow, it's like you're reliving the water buffalo race all over again. And it's like, okay, this is, I've done this before. It's just
I don't know how
probably
this
just
goes.
reliving the moments in my life that have just happened. I need you to roll a perception check for me, please.
All right. $25.
Okay, 25. I rolled a 1 too. They're not doing a very good. You're not doing a very good job of disguising themselves. Okay, so as you guys are rounding the second lap of the track once again, things are a little bit weird. First of all, you notice that the water buffalo that are riding beside you on each side, they have red eyes.
Okay.
Yes. And then you notice that the riders themselves seem to handle their animals a little bit easier than are having an easier time handling their animals than today. They don't look like they don't seem to like be
They look like
handling
they're kind of
it.
in control.
Yeah, they're in control. So as this is happening, the crowd suddenly starts to warp a little bit. Like with every second that is passing, the crowd starts to change into a bunch of just regular people in country crows cheering, being drunk, watching to race, to them taking on more and more hellish features until the scene around you turns into something that resembles something you'd find in either probably more like the Nine Hells. You are in a giant arena. You are currently racing on what seem to be armored plated buffalo, but at this point they resemble Gorgon, so armor plated bulls, apparently, and your fellow riders are other individuals like yourselves. While you look at your hands, and there are no longer the leather gloved hands that you are used to, but more small, a little more petite. There are like really heavy irons that are like attached to each one of your wrists. Could you
So like bound together, like
Yep. Not
knuckles,
bound
kinda?
together, but like there is like a chain that's connected to each one. But it's not like you can like put your, they give you some mobility, but not enough mobility to like if you were in like a bad fight, you can like do that much. Could you roll me a wisdom saving throw, please? There is a booming voice that comes over the arena.
Ooh, 12.
Okay. You are momentarily frightened at this. When you look at the up in the stands on kind of like a balcony area, there is a horned gentleman in black robes who is shouting, and you would understand this at this point. Telling the crowd, asking the crowd whether they want bloodshed or not. As in front of you at this point, there is a couple obstacles that have formed. Pits in the ground that had just opened up, kind of like sinkholes. And ahead of you, you see a few riders go into these pits, and there is this just horrific sound of metal being torn apart and screams of those other riders that you were with. Could you give me an animal handling check, please, as you try to steer your Gorgon, even though it's not really an animal, away from one of these pits that have just opened up?
Okay. 25.
If we die in the dream, do we die in real life?
We'll find out.
Freddy comes out of the pit. No. And you are able to steer away from the pit. Pit number 1. Give me another animal handling check as well. Okay, you are able to steer around pit number 2. You and 2 other individuals are the only ones on this track, as people are just like screaming. Well, devils are just screaming their heads off. As this is going on, there is a cloud that slowly rolls over the open stadium, and it begins to darken. Momentarily, the crowd goes into a hush as there is some confusion that is going on. At this point, there is lightning that starts striking almost randomly everything in the stadium, and there is like a very large siege beast that comes bursting through the stadium. People are like thrown like rag dolls all over, and like bodies are raining down upon the ground. Some get caught into the spike pits that have already opened up. And there is something in your mind that tells you this is our chance. I would like you to choose a skill you have, because there is a large siege beast that looks like this hulking troll that is at least 30 feet high, with like essentially it's wearing a backpack where somebody could stand in, just causing chaos. But there is an opening behind it that looks like it leads to the outside, which is covered in bodies because literally people have been thrown in the air and landed on their heads and necks.
It's raining.
It's raining bodies. It's raining men and women.
And everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
And anything in between, everyone in between. Yes.
So I'm trying to escape past this where it broken.
Yeah.
Okay. I would think, and not to go to stealth and acrobatics, but I think this would more be an acrobatics or dexterity type situation. Trying to. It sounds like this is chaos that I'm going to take advantage of, so I want to dance around whatever's going on and slip in between spaces. That sort of. I think acrobatics, maybe.
Okay. Acrobatics will work. Okay. You are able to dodge the raining men and women, and imps and bone devils and spine devils.
While this is happening, do I sense or see anyone that seems or anything that seems familiar to me? Besides this horror show.
The voice that tells you to go for it sounds very familiar.
Okay.
Yeah. And as you are able to dodge the incoming people debris, and rocks and lightning, as you come out of the arena and there's this mass chaos that is going around, there is a shout to your right. There is a woman that doesn't look like an inferno being of some type, and she is beckoning you to get to her, and that is when the dream cuts out and you wake up.
Gonna shoot up,
Mm-hmm.
look around, hand going for dagger underneath the pillow.
You hear, nope, we're good. Sorry about that. I don't know. Shit. Sorry. Sorry.
Was
And
that-
there's just this frustrated voice in your head. It's just sorry.
Was that something that happened before, or something that could happen, or just?
That was something that happened before.
So you know how it turns out.
Yeah, I do.
Sounds like it turned out great.
There's a sigh. Eventually, it turns out okay. There's a long road between that and okay, though.
No, now you can get there.
Hopefully if there is another one, hopefully it's not such a bad experience. I apologize.
No,
I didn't wake up your lady friend, did I? Kind of just seeing
my lady friend.
Excuse me, fiance.
fiance.
Gotta respect the greatest Connor pulled, right?
I assume she has not noticed anything.
I don't know. I kind of assumed that unless it's an obvious bad thing happening that Melanie kind of sleeps like the dead.
Oh yeah, probably. But like, would there have been? Would she have been, yelling or anything?
There was I assume there was probably some like
There's
tossing
probably
and
definitely
turning.
certainly a jolt awake,
Are you okay?
Yeah, just conversations with these things, are deities or I have it's weird.
What?
There's
Who
a
are
dream.
you having a conversation with?
Just kind of point towards the side of the room where the clothes are, the belt,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. No, that makes
voices
sense.
head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is awkward.
Totally unlike us. uh, it's some pretty disturbing, but I'm told to get better.
Oh. Okay, well, better is better.
And I'll kind of fill Melanie in on what happened, what Raine saw.
Do you think there was like a meaning to it, or do you think it was just a test?
I think it was a test, but I mean,
Did you pass?
I think it's incomplete.
Ah. Yeah, they love their tests, don't they?
And I mean, if it has some deeper meaning, I didn't do that much schooling. School of hard knocks, right?
Hey, that's the best.
Let's see, actually. Gonna have
That sounds like a good idea.
long redhead.
Okay. Sounds good. So Zaitari,
Uh-huh.
you
Swear to God, if I get into Hell Dream, break my
you
head.
find yourself in the bowels of no.
Hey, Zaitari, what are you doing here?
Hey!
So
I didn't know you came to this dream too.
you
Yeah. It has a nice bar. No.
Small world.
you so I assume you're currently asleep. And
Yeah.
yeah. So there is a breeze that comes through. Well, just to let you know, Lynn, the way the houses are built here, there's not really too much protecting you from the elements because it's like hot and humid all year round. It's either hot and humid or rainy and humid.
Yeah.
You're kind of shit out of luck. Also, the rooms are like covered in mosquito nets.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
at least there's that then.
Yeah. But there is a breeze that like a very like strong breeze that comes through the window opening and like, kind of like bangs the shutters a bit. And when you look out the window, Necklace Dad, Skagi, is like looking out the window. He's, just taking a look. And you see there's light. It's like totally, other than the stars above and the moon, it's, and some like lanterns that are lit outside of houses. It's dark, but there are like lanterns that aren't coming from those light sources that are outside and they're moving. And there are voices outside. And he's not saying anything. He's just like, he looks like he's observing everything.
I'll just kind of prop myself up and look at him and say, something interesting going on outside then.
Mm, there is. He kind of like motions you to come to the window.
I will get up, put on a robe, because Zaitari sleeps naked,
Hmm
and walk over to the window.
When you get to the window, there are what could be described as there are many, many ethereal spirits that are walking the streets. Many of them are going to the little spirit houses on the public roads for the offerings. Um, a lot of them are just like just wandering town, visiting, taking a look at the decorations. A couple are on your own street, are just like looking outside of houses, like talking to each other, saying, "Oh, I love what they've done with our place." Things of that nature. There are a few individuals that look a little lost, like they're not sure where to go. And then, your father points out another lantern, like far, far down the road. And it's actually Arhit, the Loxodon you had spoken with earlier in the day. And he looks like there is like a line of what looks like to be lost souls, like just following him, and he looks like he's leading them somewhere.
I'll quickly put on some slippers and follow.
Okay. Yeah, and Skaggy is kind of like following with you, and he says to you, I don't know whether it's the place or the festival itself, but it's like the veil between here and where the spirits depart seems very thin. A lot of them seem like they're coming and going as they please currently. I don't know whether it's like the time of year, the festival itself, column A, column B.
I'm sure it's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
This place is already, honestly, we might as well be on a almost like a different plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
How different it is from what we're used to.
As you're walking around the streets, like a few of the spirits notice you, but they don't really pay you much mind. Some of them actually like wave, like give you a very friendly wave to the both of you.
And I'll wave back.
Right. And then they go about their business, like sounding like a lot of the chatters just sounds like they're just catching up with one another. Yeah, you make it to down the street where Arhit is, and his eyes were completely black when you met him this morning. There is now like this blue ethereal glow to them at this point, and he notices you, and he says, "Oh, Zaitari, good to see you this evening."
You as well.
He's smiling. He has like this large this large walking stick with there looks like to be like lichen that it has grown from top to bottom on one side. And he's like, I'm doing my yearly, well, spiritual guidance, as it will. Some of these souls, and he like motions behind him to like some of the lost spirits. They need some directions on where to go. So it's usually a very busy few days for me. during this
I can
time.
only imagine.
It just it just becomes busier and busier each year. And at that point he says, kind of like with this like kind of a sad smile, but because of my ability to switch out, so to speak, switch out, some spirits make it easier for me to help them. So sometimes it's what I do. And he's walking and talking, and while he's doing it, he's pointing out to some spirits that have he points to a few, and they go to one offering shrine, and these are the particular offering shrines that were pointed out earlier, that though like many people offer offerings to relatives, there are a large amount of offerings that people give to those who have passed that don't have any relatives. And he's pointing to those shrines as well. And I'm very sorry if my citizens were a little loud this evening to disturb
Oh
you
no,
from
you're
your
quite
rest.
all right.
But I do
I
see.
just kind of woke up a little bit and noticed. I'm going to assume that you can see
Oh yes,
this man. He's my
yes.
father.
Oh,
He was looking out the window, so.
lovely to meet you, sir. And you see Sky just give him a very deep, a very deep dramatic bow, and there is as you guys are walking and talking, and he's guiding spirits along the main road, you come upon what seems to be a clearing. There is currently some music coming from what is a very small kind of amphitheater type place, where it's just very simple stone benches that descend into a shallowed out area, and there is a stage where it looks like there are a couple dancers currently, kind of sway and a band kind of making music, swaying to the beat. There is a melodious string instrument that plays, accompanied by a couple bells, a cowbell in the background.
Probably needs more.
Definitely needs a little more. Probably will pick up once the song song picks up pace. And you see a couple of the people that were with Arhit go down to the amphitheater and sit and watch this performance. There is in the band, and he kind of just lingers on it a little bit, in the band, on one of this, on the string instrument. It's very very similar to your Zaitari. There is a Loxodon woman that is playing, and he gives a slightly sad smile when he sees that, giving her a little wave as she nods and smiles, returns that sad smile in his direction. And he says, my late wife Book, she was always very talented and always loved her music. She
plays beautifully.
Thank you. I'm sure she'd appreciate you saying that as well. She's here every year, and a lot of the spirits find comfort in her playing. Yeah. At that point, Zaitari, it looks it one of the younger individuals, probably 18-ish,
Hmm.
a young woman, walks up from behind Arhit. She was part of the line, and she looks at Arhit and then like kind of like gestures him to like bend his head closer, and she whispers in his ear, and he like cocks his head and he starts looking around, and he's like, she was just here a moment ago, dear. Uh, uh, and he, as somebody who is usually pretty subdued, he starts like panicking a little bit, just
Hmm.
like looking around. The spirit that he was like speaking to rushes rushes down the line, and they are calling for somebody called Mali,
Hmm.
and he speaks to the woman again, and he's like, we'll find her, don't worry. And he looks towards you, Zaitari,
Hmm.
and he says, I am so terribly sorry, but it might could you spare a moment, and you could go back to your sleep like soon. um this woman here is looking for her little sister Mali. She was part of the procession a few moments ago, but it seems we've lost her.
Well,
I
I'm already here. I don't see why I can't help.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll cover more ground this way. um
Asking me, the person with the bad perception check, to make the perception check. Uh, um,
if I'm going to go back the way we came. um uh
can you describe what she looks like?
the woman who was hold on. Nin, the woman that was talking to Arhit, she says that yeah, she is about, you're looking for a child around 6 years old. She has very long hair down to her waist. Um, she also has a red bow tied into it, and she has she'll have a bad burn mark on her right cheek, and she's dressed very similarly to. She points out to one of the Thai dancers on stage, who is wearing like these like yellow, flowy pants, and a float like a very loose flowy like yellow shirt. She's wearing something like that. I don't know. I don't think she couldn't have gone far. I saw her just a minute or two ago, but
I'm sure we'll find her and it'll be okay.
all right. Okay. Um Thank you so much. You see Nin, you see Arhit ask the current procession to stay at the amphitheater while he goes to look. Nin, the older sister, goes, with Arhit down the street, but they split off at the end of the street, one going left, one going right. Skagi says, where should we start? I guess maybe back the way we came. Maybe we can run into her that way.
Um, let's look around the area a bit. She might have been drawn by um a sound or seeing something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, is he helping me with my perception check?
Yeah, you have
Okay.
advantage.
Okay. uh, um, perception.
Okay. So you guys begin to look around. It's a little bit difficult because there are, there's still people around you going to the offering spirit houses and things of that nature. But he points out something towards the beach, and you strain to hear it a little bit, but there is some singing that is being carried with the breeze in your direction from the beach.
I'll follow that.
All right. He trails behind you, and when you get to the beach, it is pretty still. But at the end of the visible shoreline, you see there is a small figure who looks like they are kind of wading their feet in the water. They're also accompanied by another small gathering of other figures, and they seem to be laughing and dancing. Some of them are singing songs. A few of them look like they're passing back and forth what looks like to be a very crudely made leather ball of sorts. But you just make out the red bow that Arhit had told you about on Mali.
Mm-hmm. I will approach and excuse me. Are you Mali?
The girl turns to look up at you, and as you do that, the other children around her, their eyes grow wide and they grow white. And your father says, "Is Zaitari?" And as he tries to warn you, their bodies begin to turn into this black shadow instead of just ghost children, essentially. I would like you to roll. Well, it doesn't matter because it's them and you. So I would like to see who goes first. So let me just put your token on the screen.
Sure.
Or you can put your token on the screen.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
could
so
do it.
you can just roll the initiative. So you can roll you the initiative. Cool, great, thank you. Yeah, you're probably going first. Yeah, you're going first. All right, you go first. There are 5 of these ghost shadow things. They're between you and Mali. Mali is about 10 feet in front of you. They are probably another 10 feet behind her. So there's 20 feet of distance between you two. What would you like to do?
So they were only aggressive after I talked to her.
Yeah.
And she was playing with them or just watching?
She looked like she was playing with them. She was singing a song with one of them.
Okay. I'm gonna doubt, but do I know the words to that song that they were singing? Any chance?
Roll a history, but roll it with, I would say roll it with wisdom, because you're trying to remember, okay, any folk songs I can think that sound like
All right.
this.
I'll just make a wisdom check. Nice.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah,
you
that
don't,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Would I be able to, even though I probably wouldn't be able to make up words for this, no, I wouldn't have my instrument because I didn't bring my bag of holding. Why would I have done that? I put on a robe and some slippers and I left. I think of an instrument and I play it now. It just comes into my hands.
What would you?
I mean, you've got spells that can make sounds, right? You could use that maybe for a musical accoutrement with your.
Yes, minor illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much have like no utility spells. Me once again wishing I had the spell creation. But alas, cannot do that as a bard. Can I say no? Why would castanets make any sense? Yeah, no, I don't know, because I don't want to do anything aggressive. Can I just hum to the tune that she was doing?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just give me a performance check.
Sure.
Okay. So they will, in response, kind of like look at you a little confused. But they don't seem aggressive at this point.
Okay.
Mali, who goes last, does look like a little scared of what just happened. Because these kids she was playing with suddenly turned into like shadow people.
Yeah, weird
shadow
aggressive people.
And she is gonna like try to slowly like she's gonna look between you, but slowly start inching in your direction as the only, well, besides Scotty, as the only two non-shadow people on the beach. Yeah, so they take their turn like being confused.
Okay. Is she closer to me now?
She's closer to you now.
How much closer?
She has gone she is like side by side with you at this point. She
Cool.
still doesn't know who you are. She's still treating you as like, I've never seen you in my life, but I'm gonna take my bets.
Sure.
With you rather than the shadow kids.
If I reached out to her to kind of like gently put my hand on her shoulder, does it pass through, or is she like more tangible?
She seems a little more tangible. And as you are as you reach out to kind of like coax her to your side, you kind of notice that your hand isn't entirely solid, but it's not entirely ethereal as well.
Interesting.
Something's definitely happening, but you're not quite sure just of yet.
Sure.
But you are able to okay, let's go this way now.
I'm going to assume that she is at the very least a creature or an object.
Okay.
So I'm going to say to her, your sister, you said Min?
Yeah.
Nin. Okay. Your sister Nin is looking for you. She's very worried. If you trust me, I can get us away from these interesting children.
Okay.
And does she nod?
She looks like she's like, okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like,
Yeah, well, as I'm touching her, I'm going to cast Dimension Door and get us off the beach.
Okay. You do so. And as soon as you get off the beach back into to a crowd of spirits, you see the shadow children like panic, and like they just disappear in like wisps of smoke. You are out of combat essentially.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
just yeah, coughing. It's just normal. So
you see like you see there is, some confusion among the populace, but they don't really look that like worried. And you see running down the street, Nin has like come from where she had gone looking for Mali initially and coming towards your direction. Arhit is like closely behind. He's a little slower though. Also given his
yeah, I
size.
mean he's an older Loxodon.
He's
so,
an older
you know.
Loxodon, so like it's just like you see Molly just like comes out from like your by your side and like heads towards her sister, who like picks her up and like just hugs her, kind of like doing like I was, where did you go, I was so worried. And then she like excitedly points to you, points to the beach. Arhit comes up to you guys and he says, thank goodness. Sorry, cardio, not my strong suit.
There were shadow children on the beach. Seems a little concerning.
He narrows his eyes towards the beach. I thought I told her. We have a I was sure she wasn't around anymore, but we have a local hermit that lives not around here, but lives a couple miles around here. She is, and he is talking to you while he is like bringing Molly and then back to the amphitheater area. She is known as what is a shadow puppet master. Those things you saw weren't actually real children. They are shadows controlled by her. I think she was, I don't know what she was doing. She's usually not out this far. I'm going to, after all this is done, I'm going to speak to her, and I'm going to take Pui and Somsak with me. That was, I assume that was very unpleasant for...
It was a bit shocking. Yes.
I'll speak to her after tonight and see what she wanted. Thank you. And he says, thank you so much for finding Nindo.
Of course.
And once you get to the amphitheater, he tells everybody, all right, that's enough excitement for now. It's time for you all to go to your the spirit houses again.
Like, all right, everybody go to bed.
Yeah, time for bed. Time for the lost souls.
Shoo.
Time for the lost souls to go to bed. Arhit will like say, I think we're okay for the rest of the night. Thank you so much again. So
Of
much
course.
Appreciated.
I would have offered to join in playing with your wife, but Zaitari just kind of looks at herself. I didn't really bring anything with me when I decided to leave, so
I thank you for like helping, even as ill prepared that you might have been, but you seem resourceful regardless.
I pretty much just started humming and they got really confused. So
you see you feel something tug on your your robe, and it's Nin.
Mm-hmm.
And she passes you a set of prayer beads that would go around your wrist, and they are this black color with like purple and red, something like purple and red swirling inside.
Mm-hmm.
And Arhit like kind of cocks his head to the sides, saying, "Huh,
I'll
interesting."
get down on her level and say, are those for me?
She's gonna nod. She doesn't say anything, but she nods.
I will put my hand over hers to kind of clasp the beads and her hands and say, "Thank you. These are very beautiful."
She smiles again, and then and then nods, and then goes back to her sister.
I'll put them on my wrist.
Arhit will smile. Those are quite a gift.
I'd imagine. I've never gotten a gift from a spirit before.
So they manifest in different ways, but those in particular, they're spirit beads. They are said to be a good luck charm to anybody who receives them. You are very, very fortunate. They say the spirit beads protect the wearer wherever they go, in this life and the next.
Oh. Well, that is a very lovely gift then. Honestly, I just thought they were no. Honestly, I would have been perfectly happy with just them being very pretty.
Yes. Well, you can partake in any of the festivities as you want, but I am going to continue my guidance for tonight. Have a pleasant evening, Zaitari, and you as well, sir. He says to Skagi, and Skagi will nod. And the sisters will wave to you as they follow Arhit down the road. The procession again starting up once more.
Yeah, I'll wave back. I'll just kind of look to Dad and say, I think that's probably enough interesting things to happen for one night. I don't know how long we've been out.
I would say so.
Should probably go back to bed.
Yeah. We have an early well, I don't know when the other group is going to wake up, but we should be prepared in case they are early birds.
Oh, Tilda won't be. So we don't have to worry about that. But I don't know exactly when we'll be getting our day started, so. If you wanted to stay out for longer, you're more than welcome.
Oh no.
I imagine you don't get to manifest very often.
I don't, but I think it. With the shadow puppet children, I think that's enough excitement for one night. And you will you slowly make your way back to the villa. Okay.
So DM, what was that about? About my hand also being weird? Or are you gonna be cryptic and not tell me?
Just give me 2 seconds.
Uh-huh.
And it was very funny that you had asked about your relic last week.
Oh.
Because When you get back,
Yeah, as soon as we started, I was like, oh, I didn't actually think about that thing that I said I
When-
was going to think about.
when you get back to the villa,
Uh-huh.
you notice that the necklace you have, it's been like upgraded a bit. It's got some feathers now. You've done the whole like, it looks like pretty fancy.
Yeah, it's more like, rather than a necklace, it's more like, I actually don't know how to describe it. It's essentially like a choker thing that goes around the neck, and it's just a bunch of feathers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find an image. But anyways, do go on.
You notice that your hand like kind of stays, like your hand, like you have this kind of like shadowy quality to you currently.
Mm-hmm.
And when you focus enough, it goes away. But you have acquired a new ability on your relic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You notice there are like, it's like the Maleficent, like,
Yeah.
yeah, toad deal, yeah.
Yeah, kind of something like that. Essentially these are the three that I found that I was like, these are similar.
Mhm.
So, all right. What did I get?
And you notice like with some of the like the dark like stones that are attached to the choker, there's some red that like resembles the prayer beads that you just gotten. That's kind of like streaked in there a little bit.
My charisma goes up to 24. What the fuck? I am so powerful.
Scroll down.
I know, but still, that was the first thing I saw. Charisma up to 24. What the fuck? Right, let's go. My sheet's like recalculating everything now. Umbral body. Here you go, guys. As a bonus action, you magically transform yourself into a shadowy form. In this form, you have oh my god. Oh, okay. You have resistance to all damages except force and radiant, and you can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. Take 5 force damage if you end
Ooh.
your turn inside an object. You remain in this form for 1 minute. It ends early if you are incapacitated, if you die, or if you dismiss it as a bonus action. Rad.
So similar, I forget if I added it or not. It's very similar to Melanie's storm avatar, once per day.
Mm-hmm. That's what I assumed. Long rest. Yeah, and I do got to think about the other ability because just did not even like as soon as we started, I was like, ah, shit. Oh well.
It's fine. It's fine. All right. If you go to bed, everybody can. If anybody had any ability, anything they needed for the long rest button, you may do so now.
God damn. +7 to my charisma. Jesus.
The roosters start crowing at 4:30 in the morning. By the way, so
Oof.
anybody who's a light sleeper hears that.
Mm-hmm. I cast Magnificent Mansion and go back.
I let out my crossbow and go, how many? Roosters now?
Well, there are 2 in your vicinity.
Yeah, I just cast like Eldritch Blast and feathers. No. Oh, Jesus.
I think Aoife's probably the one who gets up the earliest every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So she's up with the roosters.
That monk training.
Yep.
Here's a question: are we currently jet lagged?
No, because you guys are
Dragon lag? No.
Magical? I mean, magic can be the answer. I don't mind.
Magic.
Darren is now just like, you know what? I didn't think about that.
No, I did not. I'm like, ah.
To be fair, we were traveling by boat,
Yeah.
Exactly.
so that could have done something.
Magic shit.
It's fair.
That's it.
I'll take that as an answer.
Okay.
Dope magic shit.
Dope magic shit.
Dope magic as shit.
But yeah, in the morning, Aoife, as you're getting up, there are a few people who are currently like, cutting up fruits. They start cooking. They notice you have woken up. They wave hello as they cook. Looks like they're making, cutting up fruit, making like rice porridge, some accoutrements for the rice porridge. There is some fried dough that are in the form of sticks, and they have like a large container of warm soy milk for dipping the fried dough sticks, and a variety of other foods that are being made.
Aoife is making a mental note to come back and try everything. She's still on her old one cautionary fast.
Mm-hmm. Bird friend is kind of like hanging out near you, kind of like looking out the window towards the roosters crowing, like observing everything, being the bird brain that they are.
Knowing that everyone else is going to be sleeping in for a bit longer, because they're never up at dawn unless we like have to be somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't make contact with Dawa early, because I'm
Mhm.
going to operate on the assumption that if they're a practitioner and a master of a craft like this, then they're also probably an early riser.
Yep. Yep. Stan's also up very, very early. He's already outside going for like a morning walk as he passes by your villa. Kind of just notices you that you've woken up. Waves in your direction.
He'll wave back.
As he approaches, he asks, he says, "Good morning. How are you? How are you? How are you adjusting to everything?"
Good morning back. Everything's fine, I guess. It was real interesting seeing everything yesterday. I'd love a chance to, be here and learn more without the end of the world stuff being the reason I'm here.
Yes, I would assume so. Did you still want to speak to Dawa this morning?
Yeah, if that's possible. I don't think it's a conversation that's going to benefit any of my companions. They're not really into like the nitty-gritty minutia of the different styles or anything like that. So, I figured I could try and catch him before we got started in our day so that we didn't hold anyone up.
Yeah, he should be up at this moment. I'll take you to the temple.
Some thanks.
All right. He walks with you towards the northwestern part of the village. You come across a few like taro farms almost. They're like little pools of water where taro is grown, and then a couple people are already up this early in the morning, like pulling out like taro leaves and roots from in like the shallow water. Leaves are put to one side. The taro root themselves are put in another pile. There are a few orange-robed monks that are outside, and they look like they're going door to door to those who have already woken up, and they are putting like they're holding these large earthenware pots, and each time they go to a household, a person comes out. Looks like they have cooked something, and they take a scoop of whatever they've cooked and put it in the earthenware pot, and then the procession of monks go to like the next dwelling that's already up and running, and they do the same thing. San tells you that this is the Way of Mercy's food donate. This is what the Way of Mercy do for donations in the morning. They don't accept anything of monetary value when they treat people at the temple for like injuries or sickness or disease. However, and everything they own is donated. You know, clothing, food, things of that nature. So every morning they will go out, and people who wish to contribute will contribute. So he takes you to a wooden temple. The yard is pretty bare bones. There are plenty of logs that are standing on the other end of the yard. They're like full of arrow holes. Outside there is already a person. I'm just gonna say he looks. That's the guy you saw yesterday evening.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's already like putting together what look like to be, he's already fletching a couple more arrows. He's restringing his bow that looks like it's made out of a bone of some sort. He like, he notices the two of you, so he kind of just waves in your direction. San will bow in his direction. And San says, this is my master. Well, I guess here you would call him Lung Dawa, but Dawa, he just says, just call me Dawa. It's fine. Dawa says, I heard that you're Aoife, and I heard you might have some questions for me.
Yeah. Name's Aoife. Originally Drunken Master Temple, but self-taught astral self now.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of switched it up. But yeah, I have a couple questions because there was a classmate of mine, older than me, who went to go do a pilgrimage of sorts, and when he came back, he had been possessed by an old one.
Mm-hmm.
Converted to the Way of the Long Death, and he completely obliterated my monastery. And so
I'm so sorry about that.
it's all right. We long story short, there was a tournament. We got a wish. We brought back all of the students, but we weren't able to bring back the masters. Their souls were gone. But I had questions about the Long Death and how it interacted with that.
Well, I will do my best to answer. I am not a practitioner of long death myself, but I have many colleagues from the country of Tengri that did practice long death. So, I'll try to answer as many questions as possible.
I'm mostly interested in the actual like mechanical differences of how they use the key versus, Astral Self or Kensei or something like that.
Okay. As opposed to somebody, I'm more familiar with Zen archery is a archetype, I would say, of Kensei almost. So the relation there I can relate to. The monks of long death are typically, I'd hate to say this about my colleagues, but this is the only way I could really describe them. They're obsessed with the meaning and the mechanics of dying, as opposed to the individuals of the Way of Mercy who try to use ki to revitalize and invigorate their patients and their allies. The Way of Long Death, they capture creatures and prepare elaborate experiments to capture, record, and understand the moments of their demise. It can be a very frightening practice.
Yeah.
They typically use this knowledge to guide their understanding of the martial arts, and it's a deadly style from what I've observed.
Yeah, it's not any fun being on the receiving end of it. I can tell you that.
I've had a few tussles in my day with them myself. It's not fun. I know the masters, when we used to have exhibition matches with them, they're able to do things like they themselves can come back from the brink of death. They have the ability, from what I've experienced, as strange as it sounds, to try to channel the energy of death into creatures. Usually, the stronger the key of the opponent that's trying to do this, the stronger, the more damage they can deal to you.
That makes sense.
And they have the ability to instill fear in the weak-willed and to extract vitality of other creatures and to fuel their own.
It's hearing all that, it makes perfect sense why an old one chose long death.
The experiment part in my homeland is publicly, they say they don't do it anymore. Publicly. I'm not sure if they do. I do not have any proof that they do. And I am very sure there are practitioners of the long death who have more noble intentions. As you know, with any person, like with people in general, you have those who are moral and you have some that are immoral.
Yeah.
So it is a frightening style, though.
Yeah. That's really good information. I needed to make sure for myself whether or not, the old one had chosen long death specifically for its technique and approach and stuff, or if it was just the most convenient for it to learn. But it sounds like it's the first one.
If I remember from my previous schooling, old ones are have terrifying power. But I know
Yes.
there used to be multiple ones, but their specialties are more specific. I'm assuming from the way you describe your opponent and the old one that had infected him that he was more probably on the dead energy spectrum of things.
Dead energy, negative emotion, just kind of that whole vortex, I guess.
Hmm. That is not a very that's a frightening prospect then. Do you
Yeah.
have any other specific questions that I could attempt to answer?
I mean, unless you know a way to, counteract it without bringing in mercy. There's not really like a solid counter in my style, at least in Astral Self.
Mm.
No good counter for it. And the only style I can think of that does have a good counter is mercy.
Other than, your typical, and you're probably more adept at this than I am, punching or hurting the person until they can't do their abilities anymore. I can't really think of a direct counter.
Yeah. It's kind of the feeling I've got is can't stop it, which it makes sense. You can't stop death. I get it. But it'd be good to know because we're preparing to kind of go toe to toe with these old ones a bit more intimately, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm real worried if in the process there's like an army of long death practitioners, because that's a fast way to wipe out a lot of people.
That is. Well, it sounds like you might need an army of way of mercy individuals then.
Gonna be talking to the 9 leaders and see what kind of help we can gather.
Dakamai, the Sukhothai ambassador, will probably be very open to any suggestions and help she can give you. Batu, the ambassador of the Tengri, my ambassador, has always been the more practical man. If you are to convince him to give you, or to try to talk to the leaders of Tengri to give you their full force, my people are warriors. We live for battle. Appeal to him with this. He might try to hold some of his forces back to try to protect our nation. But if I understand from my education on old ones from my past, that probably won't be an option.
I don't want to be alarmist, and I'm not, because it's just the bare facts here. If we don't win, everything ends.
Mm. I will send a message to my school, though it's small, back home. Hopefully Batu sees reason.
I hope so too. We had a bit of a primary yesterday, and we were prepared that some of the leaders might be a bit more hesitant, but this isn't really the sort of thing that we have the luxury to be hesitant on. So we're prepared to argue our case. We have some very eloquent speakers in our group.
A few of them might need a knock on the head or two.
I'll fight anybody I have to fight to prove it.
Well, I wish you luck then.
Thank you, and thank you for, talking to me and answering my questions.
No problem at all. I was happy to talk to you. At this moment, after he's like, he's talking to you and like, making some arrows at the same time. There is a boy, about probably 4 years old, that starts saying he speaks in a dialect not of this region. You notice, Aoife? But he says, "Grandpa, Grandpa, breakfast is ready." And you see Dawa smile and like just just ruffle the boy's hair, and he says back to him, "I'll be in a moment." And he like waves enthusiastically to Sand, waves enthusiastically to you, and goes back into the house.
I won't keep you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you again, and go enjoy your breakfast.
No, he bows in your direction, and he will go inside the breakfast area of the house, the dining room. There is like a loud crash, and like there's a kid that says, "Oh, sorry," and there's a laugh inside, and you hear, "That's okay. Come on, let's get you cleaned up."
I will say goodbye to Sand too, and I'll head back to where everyone else is staying. I don't know if they're going to be awake yet. This wasn't a very long conversation.
No, it wasn't.
So if they're all still asleep, then I'm just going to kind of chill and hang out.
Okay. At around like 7 o'clock, like there is like a strong aromatic smell wafting from the center of the house. I assume Melanie is kind of an early like riser, but not as early as Aoife, I assume.
Yeah, she's probably up not long after like morning is like she's not up at the 4:30, but she's probably up by around 7, I would assume.
Okay. Yeah. Around 7, you see like the kitchen and the dining room area set on the low table, because everybody sits on the floor here. There is like a bunch of food that's already prepared. It's placed on like a large pawn frond mat. And the individuals making breakfast kind of like acknowledge your existence, give you a small wave, as like now pots of coffee and tea and fresh squeezed juice are placed on the mats, accompanied with the rice porridge, the fried dough sticks, the warm soy milk. There are a couple curries. There are a couple of like scallion pancakes with dipping, like chili dipping oil and things of that nature, also on the mats, and some sticky rice.
Is Aoife in this area right now?
I don't know where Aoife is. Aoife, are you in this area? Outside, inside, in the yard, in your room?
Just kind of hanging out wherever, probably wandering from space to space.
If it's mostly just the people who are like working on that area, Mel's gonna stay clear. She's not completely sure what she's not sure if there's any different cultural norms that she should be doing, so she's trying to just like follow everybody else's lead so she doesn't make her group look bad.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to be on her best behavior. So she's probably gonna like look out, be like, is anybody else around? No? Alright, I'm just gonna chill until I see somebody that I can make sure I'm not being an ass. And just kind of like, just be awkward and like, just kind of like stick to being as quiet and unobtrusive as possible so that, you know,
Aoife
so,
and Melanie, can you make perception checks for me?
Sure.
goodness, I can.
Not great.
Also, Melanie is quite aware that the fact that she's wearing all of her armor makes her pretty fucking obvious looking. So
As you guys are like chilling out, you hear a small thump sound. Bird Friend has gone onto the pond frond mat and is trying to take a piece, like a giant stick of fried dough, and is not doing a very good job.
I'm gonna look to Aoife. How did it get here? How did this bird?
I
Did
don't
it
know.
sneak past us onto the ship, or did it fly here? Is it magical like the bear?
This is what they look like, by the way, and you just dip them in soy milk.
Oh, I thought you meant the bird friend, and I was like,
No,
so
he's
you
trying to carry
made
one
bird
of
friend
those
into food?
things
Sir,
out of the
I don't know.
sir,
basket.
that is too
No
large
idea
for
how it got
you.
here. I think it's just a normal bird. It's just a weird bird.
How did it get here?
I don't know.
That's
I have a giant spectral spirit bear who follows me around sometimes. I
yeah,
don't
but
worry that
that's
much about the bird.
obviously that's obviously a magical bear, and everything says this is a normal bird.
Yeah. I've learned
I
not to
don't.
question bird friend. They do what they do, and I tend to just kind of be near it.
I'm gonna take his little dough stick, and I'm gonna break up, like, kind of break a little bit of it into pieces for him, and kind of give him some reasonably bird-sized pieces of fried dough, because apparently this motherfucker can't die, so who cares about bird diabetes or whatever happens when you give him bread? So, I'm just, yeah.
Yeah, he will gladly start nibbling at the pieces that you have torn off for him.
You're a confusing creature, bird friend.
Doesn't seem to understand what you're saying. Continues to eat. The individuals will finish up cooking, and they will take their leave.
If you're waiting for me to eat, I'm not eating, so you should just get your food.
Oh, I just didn't want to, I wasn't sure. I want to make sure that I'm putting forward a good face. I don't want to make a fool of us. You know, we are, here to try to get aid. So I'm just trying to be as polite as possible. I didn't tackle any of those people. I'm sorry you saw that, so.
No, I think you're fine. I mean, if you're hungry, you're hungry.
Well,
I don't think they'd be mad if you just got your food.
I will probably wait for the others. I don't want to. I don't know.
All right.
Okay,
well,
yes, all right, and
Okay.
I'll go
Just-
get myself some little dough sticks to nibble, that haven't been molested by a bird, and if bird friend like finishes up his little dough snack, I'll give him a little bit more of mine, just a little bit. He is still a living creature, so he doesn't need that much bread. He's very small.
Yeah, he's still working through his dough stick.
I'll just sit with you while you eat.
Are you hungry? I mean, like, I know you're
No.
not eating, but like, is it annoying? Be honest.
Not really. I can just kind of like turn it off.
Oh, it's handy.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You, I noticed you get in this morning, and so did you have a, you know, meeting that went well? I don't know. I'm trying here.
Yeah, yeah. I talked to Sans Master. His name is Dawa. He's a cool dude. He answered some of the questions I had about long death stuff.
Cool.
He gave us some pointers on how to appeal to some of the leaders, possibly for aid.
The the aid seemed like something that's doable, or something that's gonna be you know, trying to make rocks horny type thing, what we were trying to do.
It's going to depend on the leader, unfortunately. But I'm hoping if we're able to, you know, emphasize the severity of the situation enough, we're not going to have too much of a problem convincing him to help out.
Sure.
My question
But do
is
they think that
just
it's? Do they think that they'll have some abilities that would be helpful? They think.
so. I didn't. I didn't bring it up to the group because it's kind of a overwhelming thought. But Gokor, when we fought him, he was a long death monk. He had converted to long death.
Sure.
And long death is all about fear, ushering people closer to death, and using death to your advantage. And I
Okay.
am very concerned if we enter the old one to try and track down its vital organs to do our thing, and we encounter more monks like Gokor. Because an army of long death monks is like a plague of
Problematic.
locusts. Yeah, there's no real hard counter to the way of the long death. You don't just stop what they do, you know?
What
So,
about uh the I don't know, some sort of magical life stuff, you know, cleric stuff, or way of mercy, or I don't know, just like
I mean, Way of Mercy in theory is a counter only because they can heal, right?
sure.
But unless it's, immunity to death magic, um,
Hmm.
because some people can be resistant to it without it being their calling. But really, the only hard counter that there is an immunity to the death magic or just a lot of constant healing. Because in that tournament, Gokor got landed a few good hits on me, and it fucking sucked. It was awful.
Hmm.
And if there's 24 of them, say, we have
Right.
all of our radiant firepower, but then there's 24 monks of a similar level of skill to me, but specializing in the long death. Our
Yeah.
radiant firepower is going to get wiped out.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's one of the arguments I want to bring up to the nine to see if it'll sway him, particularly the ones like uh, Dawa's crew. They're warriors, right? They specialize in Zen archery and weapons and stuff like that. Um, they would be able to help quite a bit because they could deal a lot of damage very quickly. But we also need to get the mercy
True.
monks. And the Sun Souls have some fantastic ranged options to pick them off before they even get close to us. And like we need to prepare for that possibility because like the Minotaurs were an army, right? So
Yes, but weren't the Minotaurs kind of also brought down from within? I honestly don't remember. I'm not trying
I'm
to
not super concerned about like the political makeup of the Minotaurs or like how they fell. I'm more worried about because we know that one, I can't remember his name though, the one that was piloting Alexandria for so long.
Oh yeah.
His whole thing is undead. So if he had an army of Minotaur soldiers who were dead, but that doesn't really matter if he does undead stuff.
True.
So these are things I've been thinking about this a lot. This is literally all I've been doing while you guys went into that dungeon. I've just been planning and experimenting and all that. Like this is the only thing I've done for like 2 weeks.
Sounds really boring. I'm really glad you're doing it. I just God, I'd be terrible. I'm not a planner. I try to follow the plan, but I just I'm just not good at it. I get a little in the moment. Things kind of, get slippery, I guess. I don't know.
I get that. I don't think that this is something that we can wing though. It's
Yeah, no, as such, as something that we can't wing, and something that's probably going to have large amounts of magic, I am well aware that I'm not out of my depth. I'm gonna punch an old one, but I'm not as able to assist with the you know, ground laying as your guys are. I obviously willing to help. My skills are in different areas, So
yeah, no, totally. And um I don't like I'm not gonna hold that against you or anything. Like you guys don't work with key. So like developing the key technique that's on me because I'm the only one here who can do that. And I get that.
do you think that there's is it only the key? Is there some sort of like magical equivalency that we could be checking out? Like I don't know the lingo very well,
Well,
I
like
don't know.
think of it this way. So key is kind of like a magic. It's like a life magic anyways. But key is just like the ingredients that make up something, right? So
So
you want to make
do
bread, you need flour, you need yeast, you need sugar, like you need all these things. Key are those different things that go into every living creature.
right, but like do clerics not do key stuff? Because like they
They
do
do
life and
not.
death stuff.
They do life and death stuff and soul stuff, but they don't do key.
Mm. I feel
Because
like
like clerics do life and death stuff, druids do life and death stuff with plants, right? Key
yeah,
is in
obviously.
living things and in plants.
Hmm.
It's like I said, it's just like the ingredients that make life that are kind of like universal.
I feel like I mean this is obviously me with no idea what I'm doing. I feel like we need to get like a bunch of druids that work with plants and like a bunch of priests that work with bodies and like get you guys all together and somehow make you into I saw this play one time and they had all of the people they dressed up in different colors and then they stacked themselves on top of each other, made like one big person and
Oh,
they called it uh ranges of power. Anyway,
right.
all these ranges of power had like these different skills, and they got together and they made like this giant ranger of power that was really powerful. And God, I wish we could smush you guys together. I guess I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, I mean, we're trying to coordinate a plan of attack, right? So,
Yeah,
clerics and druids, they've got radiant powers, radiant abilities. They're gonna
I just
blast a hole in the old one for us.
I've yet to see you get on top of anybody and try to stack up though. So it's not exactly the same.
Most of my combat encounters I've had with you guys, I've been on top of somebody killing them.
That is a solid point. Yes.
I was on top of a Dracolich and the shadow fell for your daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we were there for. Well, it was mostly for her. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I hope she's doing okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just tired. You know.
You should be. Put a lot into all this, and you're like so fucking young for all this. Like, I'm not that old, but shit, you know, you're,
Yeah.
you know,
I I have nothing against you guys. I get along with you guys. I think you guys are great people. Kind of resent this whole setup. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely didn't. I don't think. I mean, you do know that like none of us would have like sought this out for you. We would have been like, no, she's 16. You should probably let her go to high school or something. But you were kind of dropped on our doorstep right in the midst of things, and also you're really good at this. So like, we're not gonna turn you away. But we get it. We really do.
I don't know. Don't know what the plan is for today because I took care of the Dawa talk. It's it's early, but we probably still have another 3 or 4 hours before Zaitari's up.
Oh
Probably
yeah.
4
Excuse me.
Well, and I heard Tilda casting magic missile at a rooster earlier. I think I don't know for certain. I didn't see who was casting the spell at the rooster. It could have been anybody. It could have been a local, I guess, that was just fed up with it, maybe. But she might. I'm just saying she might still be asleep.
Place is pretty cool though. Really like it here.
Wait, does Raine know magic missile?
Arcane trickster.
I guess it might have been Raine that was casting magic missile.
I actually have the
I
wand.
completely made up
Yeah, I was
scenario
gonna
that
say.
didn't happen.
Excuse me. She multi-classed into bard. So
Sorry, I forgot.
Rogues with spells.
I'm in 4 fucking games. I forget.
I feel you.
And I'm only in 3 of them. Come on, DM, come on. Why are you mixing it
Oh
up?
god, that would be so much more confusing. Honestly, really glad that anybody that's in this game and my Sunday game that I run has very little overlap of any like themes, or I would get definitely like swirled around with content. So I'm really glad that it was mixed up.
Like my
Molly, did I just hear our character ideas? Lane and Zaitari?
yeah.
Oh my god, I will. Rocks fall, everyone dies. Ugh.
The sorcerer twins, Lane and Zaitari.
Yeah.
Because I'm bad at confusing things myself, I try to make my characters as different as possible between the different games.
Oh yeah.
So you got Aoife, and then my other character that I'm playing regularly is basically a theater kid reject, who's got a puppet, and the puppet's like his whole personality.
Oh god.
But he's a
That
hex
sounds
slave,
like
and the
it's
puppet's his
terrible and
patron.
wonderful.
He's a big old orc. He dresses like his puppet, so he's like in a Harlequin makeup all the time. His name is Sedgwick. The puppet is Fauntleroy, and Fauntleroy is his hexblade patron.
Oh my god.
So when he attacks, Fauntleroy the puppet draws a weapon.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I swear I swear to God, every single ventriloquist is like their whole personality is their puppet. So I mean that makes sense.
It's true. That's actually very valid.
Just an obnoxious theater kid. Remember those theater kids you hated in high school? That's Sedgwick.
We didn't really have a theater program.
Yeah, but you had theater kids.
Well, I feel like it's hard to be a theater kid if there's no theater to be part of. Like they must have like done it somewhere else. I don't know.
You can be
You
a
could
theater
totally
kid
be a
if
theater
your
kid without a
favorite
theater.
movie is Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really into Phantom of the Opera, you're a theater kid.
Mm-hmm.
We had so few students. I just think that we just didn't have as much spread across the various types of humans, other than deer hunters, of which there were many.
You had to have had some burnout. Everybody has burnout.
Yeah.
Like the drug dealer that was 19 in senior year and I had to Photoshop him out of the senior photo.
Yes.
He went to jail. Oh yeah, we had one of those. Yeah. That was a thing. They're like, hey, you need to take him out, and I was like, why? And they're like, he's in jail, and I was like, yeah, that tracks.
Okay.
All right, I got you. like no doubt here. I got you. I can fix this. Let me.
So when does everybody
What
else
is
want to get
the-
up?
So, question: what was the timeline of when we were supposed to like do various things here? Like, did we have a schedule, an itinerary that we were given, or is it more like you're here, good luck?
Binta had
The big
Binta had
city
mentioned.
soon.
Yeah, Binta had mentioned like today the leaders want to the ambassadors, sorry, not leaders. The ambassadors want to speak to you guys. Binta has a teleportation ready to go to the capital of this country, which is called Ataya. Sorry, trying to remember capital names I gave to these countries. So she's ready to go whenever you are. Actually, you can see their villa from where you are, and it looks like they are. And you can see clear into the dining room because everything's opened around here. Nobody has privacy. That's probably felt like in Thailand. Yeah, you can see into the villa. They're already eating breakfast. French fry, don't come
I guess
over
we'll
here.
we can just wait for everybody to kind of like get up in their own time, and then we can head over there.
Zaitari
I
would
think
probably
that
get up
sounds-
like an hour after you finish that conversation that you had. She doesn't sleep in that late, so not unless she knows that there is the luxury of time in which she will lounge in bed. So
I mean, that's fair.
I always imagine Raine is one of those people that they will get up at the time they say they're going to get up. Like they can get up at 4 a.m., but they say they're going to get up at 8, get up at 8, you know? Like before.
Once everybody else is up, I'll recap the Dawa conversation again.
Now, is there? And I can't remember. Did you bring the book with us, or is it back in the keep?
I left the book behind.
Okay.
I really did not want it, like, because we were all going on a ship into sea monster infested waters. I was really concerned about it,
No,
like,
that's
sinking to the bottom of the ocean.
it's extremely valid. I just could not remember.
Yeah,
'cause
I did.
But now that you say that you didn't want it to fall in the ocean, we've had that conversation. Yeah.
I also checked all my books back in for the same exact reason.
Well, I think we could head to a villa and get things underway. Did everybody have a restful evening? I know at least one of us slept poorly, but did everybody else sleep well? All this traveling and whatnot, we should be exhausted, right? So,
I'm back. My child is dumb. You have food, ketchup. There's no food. There's food right there. Dad opened a can for you. It's right there. I even put him in front of it, and he just looked at me like, what? Oh, now he's eating. From the empty bowl. Oh my god.
like he's miming the eating motion from the wrong bowl? What do you?
He's licking
What?
the empty bowl when there's a full bowl of food right next to it.
Well, apparently, wait, is it the same food?
It's all Friskies.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's a special boy.
It's empty. You dumbass. Sorry, I'm frustrated.
Oh, so my I'm gonna be honest, my dog is smarter than I realized, and more of an asshole slash like drama weirdo. So this morning I was still in bed, and I was like vaguely awake, like rolled over, was thinking about getting up sometime soon. And Tana was like, "It's wake up time, motherfuckers," because it's morning and it's Tano. And I was just like, "Yeah, I don't like to get up before 9 because it sets a bad precedence for you. So we're gonna chill for a bit." And she was just like, "Ah," and like running around, just being an ass. And finally, she came up, and I was like, "Come on the bed and lay down." And she got up, and I was like petting her, and I was like, "See how we can be so nice." And she was just standing there getting pets, and I was laying there, and she's just like, she walks up to my pillow, walks past me just enough, so I'm like her midpoint. She turns and looks at me with her little face, turns her butt toward me, so it's like a U, okay, that both points of the U are facing me. She then kind of like moves her leg in such a way that her tail is hitting me in the face, and she just wags her tail repeatedly, just feather dustering me in the face, just on purpose, maliciously terrorizing me with her tail. Telling you
I
guys.
really thought this was going another direction.
Oh, you thought no, she did not poop on me. Thank God. That
Close.
would have been bad. No, this was just tail assault. Who uses tail? I guess I might use a tail as a weapon if I had one.
I mean, my cats do it all the time.
I mean, my cats, one of their games they play all day is who can get their tail in my mouth the most times. Because they come up when I'm like mid-conversation on the phone, and they're just like, "Would you like some tail in your mouth?"
They probably just get endless amounts of entertainment by you going pa 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 pa.
They
So,
love it. It's their
yeah.
favorite.
I assume everybody's up for breakfast at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're eating your breakfast. Stan comes over and he says, "So Binta's ready to take you guys, which are 5 of you, and 3 of us are going to have to stay behind because, well, it's teleportation. Don't only bring 8 people. So since I will come with you, Binta has to come, of course, and I would make the suggestion of the 8th person being, and I need to go back to my list of people because Darren made so many NPCs, and it's been 7 years.
It's been
1,000,000 years. There it is.
I could just stuff them all in the hole. Go through the circle.
Be a good way to teleport like into that seems like it's asking for trouble.
It's fine.
Rolling a whole new type of failure chart at that point.
I guess since you know her better than the others, I guess Switch will come. So it's gonna be Binta, Binta, Switch, and Sand. They'll come with you. Well, Binta has to come. Binta was I believe Binta was the dark-skinned elf who Ishalia spat on during the tournament.
Oh, nice. Classy.
Ishalia has a very strong feeling of those individuals from Inculta.
Yeah.
Binta was just the closest. Yeah, at the time. So Binta's ready to take you ASAP or whenever you deem ready to go. Now, I know Hemlock, you are not here next week because you are moving.